The rich young ruler has the opportunity. Jesus is presenting him with a revelation. You're only here because you want to get something. You're self-seeking. That's what this is all about. You're rewards-oriented. And so he brings him into an interesting, a beautiful and wonderful truth. Which commandments? He quotes all the horizontal relational ones about the way we interact with each other. And he says it so beautifully. If you embrace those and live those out, you're going to have a good life. Not talking about eternal life, because that's not what they've been. That's what he came talking about, eternal life. But Jesus is talking about life now. If you have these good standards of how you're going to interact with people, you'll have a good life. But Jesus refers to entering life, not having life. There's subtle differences again. He will not put eternal life as a possession. He's not going to word it that way. Matthew 19, verse 20.
The young man said to him, "All these things I have kept. What am I still lacking?"
It's such interesting words, isn't it? I have kept. Kid, that's part of the problem. And by the way, Jesus does not rebuke him. He's a young man. Woe to the man who reaches an age of what I would call accountability, which I figure is somewhere around 30. Woe to that man who is still interested in keeping things. Hasn't reached a point of realizing that it's more blessed to give. Should have figured that out by now. Even if we didn't figure it out, we're told it quite clearly by the Lord himself. Giving is the name of the game, not keeping and getting kind of thing. Anyway, Mark 10, verses 21 and 22.
Then Jesus, beholding him, loved him, and said unto him, One thing thou lackest. Go thy way, sell whatsoever thou hast, and give to the poor, and thou shalt have treasure in heaven. And come, take up the cross, and follow me. And he was sad at that saying, and went away grieved, for he had great possessions.
And that just kind of encapsulates the whole conversation, what's actually been happening that Jesus picked up on immediately and everything. See, the choice is this. You can have and you can enter, or you can be and come. And when you put those two words together, be and come, you get one word? Become. Like your father, because the thing was about becoming perfect. Matthew 5:48, like your father, a son, whose interests are the interests of the father. The inheritance that you're desiring is to be with the father. When the prodigal goes back, I'm going to get my father back. It's the father. It's the relationship with the father and becoming like him. See, the bottom line when Jesus says one thing you lack, any thoughts on what is the one thing this guy lacked? That's what I put down was the thing that he lacked was a heart to give. Might have had a head for it, but he didn't have the heart for it. And that's an interesting, when it comes to giving, in any capacity, whether it's our own possession, it doesn't matter what it is. You can have a head for it and do it out of your head. You know, when Paul talks about being a cheerful giver, that's you don't do that in your head. That's a heart. That's a heart that rejoices at being able to give. It's a revelation of Jesus Christ that sees beyond the thing that I'm giving to the work that's going to happen as a result of that. Now, if that doesn't bring us joy, I don't know what does. He lacked the perception, the understanding, all these different things. What I put down here, he lacked a heart to give, not just to take and have. He was okay with that. But he lacked the heart to give, which is what our Father has. Our Father is a giver. And it's funny, you put the words be and come together, become. And when you say he lacked a head, when you put those two words together, what do you get? A head. If you want to get ahead, you don't give. That's not how you get ahead. That's the world's mind. If you want to get ahead, and that's really what it boils down to. What is it that you want? You want to get ahead? He obviously did, because he realized what it was going to take to actually become, to get that heart of a giver, to become it. You see, the original question behind his coming to Jesus, whether you use the word inherit or have, behind it was, what do I have to get further ahead of where I am now? And when Jesus says, you have to give everything you've got now away. Actually sell it and then give the money away to the poor because they desperately need financial help. He walks away, rats. So I'm stuck. I can't get any further ahead than where I am now. He's got a head for giving, but he doesn't have a heart. The third area that I'm looking at, the first one was transgression and tradition. The second one was getting and giving. And the third thing I'm just calling stone and spirit. Because basically what it boils down to is that when you're living in the wilderness, you've got a stone God and everything is in stone. But when the law is not stone, when the law is spirit, then we understand the law of the spirit and the newness of life. We understand giving, and our heart is in. I'm in. It's like being at the poker table and pushing everything in the middle, and somebody says, that's a big gamble. I said, no, I just won. I gave it all away. I'm not gambling. I just gave it all away. I'm a winner. And somebody else at the table is going, what on earth are you talking about? That's the whole point. I'm not talking about earth. This makes no sense at all on earth. But in the realm of the kingdom, it makes perfectly good sense. Because it is the way, the truth, and the life. So next week we'll take the third one on. It'll be in Matthew 22 and Mark 12, where they come to Jesus once again. They want to talk law with him. And so he does, but takes him even further.